Hey family! So happy birthday, Dad! Today, speaking of memories, last week I thought I'd share some memories. I say a lot too, Megan, but anyways, sharing memories of Dad today. So I remember when we lived in Provo and Dad had his scooter, and specifically remember Mom telling us never ever to touch it when it was parked on the back cement pad, and I remember really wanting to touch it. Because it was Dad's and it was cool and it was a motorcycle. Yep. And I think we did touch it once. Maybe. I sort of have vague memories of riding on the scooter with Dad around our cul-de-sac in Provo. But that's really vague memory. I do recall when Dad brought Mazer home from Mazer, and that was exciting, even though I was terrified. It was fun. I knew that Dad was a teacher, but didn't really ever remember much beyond that. I remember on our way to New Hampshire, driving in, we'd take turns sitting in the truck with Dad, driving, and listening to some NPR, and I loved Click and Clack, and Car Talk. I also recall Dad pointing out a tornado, or like little dust devil, I guess, maybe, because a tornado just seems like it'd be too big to see, but maybe we did, going across either Kansas or someplace like that where tornadoes are. But I just remember when we got to sit in the truck with him for a while that was fun. While living in New Hampshire, one of my fondest memories of Dad, I don't know how old I was, but we were still in the we're in the condos, and Dad would periodically take us on dates. I don't know if we had to do chores or something to get it, but it was like really specific special time, one-on-one with Dad. And I remember for my date with Dad, I think we went to the video store probably, and I picked out Rock-a-Doodle, and Dad and I hung out in the basement and we watched Rock-a-Doodle and probably ate popcorn and had candy, and I just thought Dad was the absolute coolest dad ever, and no one could compare to my dad because he watched Rock-a-Doodle with me. I also remember while living in the condos when you worked on a dairy farm, Dad, and you periodically would let one of us come with you in the morning to see how the cows were milked and just get that special really early morning time with you. And I can still picture the cows filing in, and I hadn't realized that's how it was done. I thought we were actually going to go and milk the cows. But that was cool, and it was eye-opening to how that whole process works as a young child for me. I also recall when you and Uncle John made our playhouse. That was, I think, one of the best presents us kids ever had. We had so many good times playing on that at the condos and then at our house down in the woods there, and it was a lot of fun, and I appreciate that you and Uncle John spent the time to build that for us. I remember the zip line. I attribute that to you, Dad, because I can't really imagine Mom having put that up. But I remember how fun it was to have a zip line out our back kitchen door, and it was terrifying, but it was so much fun. And I think between the zip line and the special daddy-daughter times, the building the playhouse, you were always my adventurous dad, the dad that did the fun stuff. I remember how most summers before school started, we'd all head to your classroom and work on putting up bulletin boards, cleaning the desks, and anything else you needed us to help you with. And if you didn't need our help, or maybe we were kids and we were just getting in the way, because now that I have kids, I see that as a large possibility, you would just send us out to the playground and we'd play on the playground while you did whatever work you needed to do in your classroom. And those are really fond memories I have. I made a list because there's a lot, and yeah. See, I remember it was after we moved to the house that you taught me to ride a bike, and although I am not a very good bike rider, you took your time with me and you encouraged me, and you did not give up on me learning how to ride a bike, and I am very grateful for that skill, that just the time spent as a whole family really doing that. Of course, there's the penny auction, and Dad, you were always Santa, and I know we would, as kids, we'd always kind of fight over who got to be your elf that year. And to me, if I got to be the elf, it meant, sorry everyone, but it meant that I was Dad's favorite. That's how I saw it, is if we got to be the elf, then we must be Dad's favorite, because it was the elf and Dad was Santa, and it didn't really get much better than that around Christmas time. Oh, going back to your jobs, I remember when you did the paper route. I think that was only one summer, but I remember coming with you, and I can still, honestly, I can still smell the newspapers and the plastic bags we would put the newspapers in as we tossed them out of the car. I don't think we even tossed them. I think everyone had a newspaper mailbox that we'd stick them in. And that was fun, even though I don't really care for the smell of newspaper anymore. Yeah. So much, Dad. Thank you for being our dad, for the example you set, and the way you treat Mom, and how you expected us to treat Mom. I remember Mom would be on the phone and we'd try interrupting her, and if you caught us doing that, oh, we were in trouble. We had to speak kindly to Mom. And I'm really grateful for that lesson, and that you showed your love for us and for Mom in those lessons. Yeah. Thank you for expecting our best at all times, and not allowing us to be less than our best. With schoolwork, with any activities we set out to do, it has been something I've carried with me into adulthood, that I need to be my best, and shouldn't allow myself to be less than it when I know better. It's getting long. I remember when you practiced your tests for your students on us, kind of to see how much, I don't even know why anymore, but I remember Angelina and Uncle John had that office in their basement, and we'd go sit down there and you would give us a test either on like spelling words or math problems or whatever, and you would just tell us to try your best, because I think you were just trying to gauge how much kids should know, or if you were expecting too much out of your students. Maybe there was some other hidden reason that I never even knew. I just remember practicing tests with you, and I enjoyed them very much. So, finally, thank you for being a spiritual leader in our home, for going to church, for doing those things as an example. Your faith and your testimony has been a blessing in my life. Thank you, Dad. Have a very happy birthday. We love you. Bye.